conspicuously absent from the last few competitions. People wondering where he's at in his season. So that'll be fun. And in a way that, watching him in a way that is sort of like lower stakes, quote unquote, when you're on a team, seeing what he can do will be really cool.
Wodapalooza has also been announcing some workouts. The one that raised some eyebrows involves a 5K trail run off-site. It's part of an event called Bike Race, which also includes everybody's favorite calories on an Echo bike to go with your 5K trail run.
Cardio is cardio.
And about, I believe, five workouts on both the individual and team schedules have been announced so far.
Cool. Well, it is always really exciting for me when an event gets unique with what it offers in terms of programming based off of where they are, what they can do. And so, we always see an open water swim or some kind of swim happening, and that really makes Wodapalooza special. So I'm excited to see what they can offer in terms of like location for this run,
or
what that's going to look like and what they partner it with, or how soon or far from the swim it is, like whatever it may be. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, all the other divisions throwing down, as well as the vendor village and spectator experience, the gauntlet, everything. It's going to be fun down there. And you and I will get, I think, one more chance to talk about it before the event starts. And then I think we're going to try to talk about it during the event too, right?
Heck yeah!
All right.
Kettlebells and cocktails and morning chalk up weekly buzz live from Wodapalooza. If you're going to be there at the event, come find us at the podcast stage. That will be fun. That will be really fun.
Perfect. All right. So let's move on.
Okay. What else in the competition sphere do we need to be talking about?
So let's talk about this news story. Just dropped yesterday. I believe the barbell spin was the first to make a public note about an email that went out to Legends competitors, podium athletes from the Legends Championship that just took place last month. And the email said that they would love to pay out significant prize money every year. Unfortunately, they will not be able to provide any for 2023. So not what you would ideally want to hear as a podium athlete. And so there have been some reactions, some discussion surrounding this. We reached out also to the organizers of the Legends. That's Joe Linton and Bob Jennings. And they've responded. We've got a story coming out tomorrow. So this is hot off the presses. It's not even off the presses yet. But the story is called Legends Championship Organizers Explain Payout. So they broke it down for us. So, but let's talk about it overall, and then we can get into the details here.
Okay.
So have you heard about this?
Yeah, I did hear about it. And first, I think it makes sense just to like really clarify what's going on here, because recently people have been hearing about the Legends competition in the context of this is going to be the Masters competition for the CrossFit Games next year. And I think it's really important, first and foremost, to say that we're talking about the 2023 competition that just happened, that just wrapped up, where people just recently made the podium and got their rankings. So this is not necessarily indicative of what's happening next year when the CrossFit Games are involved and when this is the official sort of like end of the line for all things Masters and CrossFit Games.
Yes.
That's number one.
Yes.
So that confusion, I think, was kind of tough for people to understand, because they were like, what do you mean? This is like the games now. What do you mean they're not going to pay out? And then the second thing I think is important to say out loud is that these athletes were not necessarily told ahead of time that there would be a prize purse that is now being taken away.
Yes.
So they were never, that is not to say that they didn't think that there was going to be some kind of monetary prize, because that's kind of a fair assumption these days. When you have a big time competition that has some sort of press around it, publicity around it, and people are talking about it, it's kind of fair to assume there's going to be some sort of monetary prize for the podium or for the top 5 or top 10, whatever it may be. But it is important to know and understand that these athletes were not told ahead of time, hey, first place takes home $5,000 or something like that. And now that's not happening. So this is kind of just like a follow-up.
Yeah.
Thanks for competing with us. I'm really sorry we can't pay you kind of email that went out, basically.
Yeah, I think that's a good summarization of some of the key issues here. There was not a prize announced before the competition. And yeah, so it's not that kind of a situation. There has been in years past at the Legends Championship a prize payout for podium athletes, both in terms of a cash prize and vendor bags and get, freebies and things like that.
Sure.
But again, this has never been part of the draw for the competition itself. Jason Grubb, who competed this year, who's a multi-time games champion, he won the 45 to 49 division. We talked with him. He said that his feelings were a bit mixed, that it's not ideal, but he also said it's not the heart and soul, his words, not the heart and soul of why we compete. We're driven by our passion for the sport, the challenge it presents, and the amazing community that it builds. So that's what he was saying.
I love that he said that. I also very much respect people who don't share that sentiment because they had to pay their own way, because this is very much a sport where you have to fund all your own shit.
Yeah.
And so I totally see it from both ways. I love and understand when people are like, I do this for the community. I do this for the clout of winning. I do it for whatever reason works for them. That's great. But I also feel like money talks. I'm just being realistic. And if you got to buy a new pair of lifters for the event, you at least want that covered, or traveling yourself there, or, traveling your friends or family to watch you. It definitely adds up. So it's a little bit of a tough pill to swallow, but I am really glad to fully understand that it's not like something was promised and then taken away, because that would feel extra shady. Yeah. And I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and in our conversation with Jason Grubb, he also reiterated that the Legends Championship, he said that it has consistently, these are his words again, consistently provided an unparalleled experience. It's one of the premier competitions for masters, and he's really happy about the partnership for CrossFit with the 2024 Masters CrossFit Games. So, clearly this is not something where there's a lot of bad blood kind of developing, but optically not the best look for anyone. But I think it's a tough economy to be an event organizer. I think that all event organizers really struggle to eke out profitability in CrossFit events.
True, which is why I'm really eager to see how things will change next year for all of the events involved, for the masters, for the teens, for the adaptive divisions, and what additional types of resources CrossFit will help put into these events in order to really round out the experience for the athletes and for the spectators. That sort of remains to be seen, but I have high hopes.
Yeah. And one thing that I think just now really becoming clear to everyone is that the Legends is still going to hold the Legends Championship next year, and it's going to hold the CrossFit Masters Games, the Masters CrossFit Games by Legends. So it's actually two separate competitions. One that is going to, be funded through CrossFit, and the other, which is the event that has just occurred at the end of this past calendar year.
Oh, that's really interesting. So there'll be
two different revenue streams, two different expense models for two different events.
And two different ways to get there. One will obviously be through open quarterfinals, etc.
And then the other one is completely a separate event.
Yeah.
Not the games. Yeah.
Cool. Interesting. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Oof. All right. The season will be big, Joe. It will be, every year it changes, and this year it will be not without its complications. So we'll figure it out as all the details emerge.
Well, that's kind of the news for right now. On the community side, things have been quiet. We did just announce our affiliate of the month, which is Great Oak CrossFit in Ohio, and some other cool stuff going on with folks developing ways for us to use health savings accounts and things like that. But we'll continue to dig into those in future discussions.
Awesome. Joe, thank you so much for meeting with me, for bringing us all the latest, greatest headlines from the morning chalk up. That has been the Weekly Buzz. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will chat with you guys soon.
Thanks, Nikki.
You are listening to Hit Play, Not Pause, a feisty menopause podcast for active, performance-minded women. I am your host, Selene Yeager. Each week, I bring you advice from athletes, scientists, researchers, and other experts to help you feel and perform your best, no matter what your hormones are doing. This show is a production of Live Feisty Media. Happy New Year, strong, feisty women. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season and is looking forward to the new year. I, for one, am stoked